Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good day. Today's September the 3rd, 2025. And we have a little bit of talk about the tropics. We're approaching the peak of the season, which is normally around September 10th, September 11th, around there. And as expected, we are starting to see an uptick on activity in general. Regarding the tropics, what you guys are seeing right now, it is an area that probably soon is gonna be named, or is not named, but what I mean is as an an area of investigation by the National Hurricane Center. This area here, it has 80% chance of development within the next 7 days, based on the National Hurricane Center. A tropical wave located over the eastern tropical Atlantic, a few hundred miles west-southwest of Cabo Verde Islands, continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions remain conducive for additional development of this system during the next several days. And a tropical depression is likely to form later this week or this weekend. So, what is a little bit concerning is the fact that this, a few days ago, was expected to be more like up here. So remember, the further south that the system is, or a wave, or whatever you want to call it is, the more chance, or a higher chance it has to affect or impact the islands. And that's basically what the trend has been. More and more of a westward movement and further south. So I'm going to show you guys a few forecast models that show, again, this is really far out. We're talking about 10 to 14 days out, but some of the models originally kind of picked up the same idea or started doing the same thing with Hurricane Erin, what we became Hurricane Erin eventually. Now, the early models, especially the GFS, it had Erin basically just rambling to or crashing into Florida as a hurricane, and obviously that did not turn out. But it was the original plan or thoughts of the actual forecasting model. But now let's take a look at what the GFS currently is saying about this area that, as you guys can see, is low pressure right there. Now, if we move forward, you can see that it gets really close to the islands, just north of Puerto Rico, with pressure of 960? Yeah, it looks like 960s. And then it gradually starts kind of slowing down, 950s, and it gets really close to land, and eventually makes landfall in the border of South Carolina and Georgia, as a potentially a major hurricane. Again, this is actually something that most likely is not going to happen. But I've mentioned it before, where you start getting consistency in the forecasting models, when you start getting agreement, that's when we need to start paying attention. Now, no other model shows this. This is just the GFS. So again, take it with a grain of salt. But it's showing pretty much a major hurricane near the coast of the United States. Okay. Then, if we go back to, let's say, the European, is not too far out, but again, it shows a 955 hurricane, not even getting to the islands yet. The islands are here. So obviously, this will be a really bad case scenario, because that would the issue is that it's going to affect the islands drastically. If you have a potential Category 3 hurricane, much more before it actually even reaches the islands. Now, if we go to the European AI, now the European AI, it takes a completely different turn. I mean, you guys can see that it really doesn't do a whole lot with that system. I mean, you can kind of see that it does basically start developing very close to Puerto Rico with a 994 pressure. So that's actually obviously a lot weaker, and then basically stops there. I mean, it goes out 360 hours, so a much more slower system. And literally, well, actually, no, I'll take that back. If you guys see that it actually fizzles out and it continues to go this way, and then eventually out into basically nowhere. So let me gonna go forward. So the wave behind it is really what actually develops. Now let's take a look at the icon. The icon has been doing okay, but the icon, okay, so it's starting to run. So actually it's not gonna show anything. But let's take a look at the Canadian model. Basically starts developing it north of Puerto Rico, and it seems like out to sea eventually, because the high pressure system is really high up. My concern with this particular storm is that the setup is, multiple models are showing the same thing. GFS, this one, and I'm pretty sure there's some other ones where you see another high pressure system here starting to build and potentially blocking the storm. And that's exactly what the GFS is showing. If I go back, move into forward, you see that? You guys can see high pressure system here, and then move a little bit more, or actually go back. Let me see here. I mean, you can kind of see it where there's multiple high pressure systems blocking it, and that's why it steers it into potentially Georgia and South Carolina. Again, take this with a grain of salt, okay? And I just got a notification here. What is this? Okay, no, so never mind. That was actually for Hurricane Kiko in the Pacific, Category 4. The good thing about Hurricane Kiko is, I mean, we can look at it. I'll go back and show you guys. And I have a co-worker that is traveling to Hawaii, so obviously she's like a hawk, just focused on the weather, making sure it's not going to affect Hawaii, which actually everything is pointing out that it may, but not as a major hurricane or a strong storm at all, based on the latest models that I saw. But let's go back to let's actually, you know what, let's talk about what is happening with Kiko. Let's continue the conversation. So let me switch to the Central Pacific. Let me see, it's the Central Pacific. Okay, yeah, so there's Kiko, and you guys can see it is a major hurricane, but once it started getting closer to Hawaii, I mean, it really just a very mild, potentially even maybe a tropical depression. That's about it. Now the European, same thing. Now the European 1001 millibars, so obviously that's actually weak. Let's take a look at the Canadian model. Canadian model actually has it completely fizzling out and then moving south. And then we have the icon, which is running, so it's not going to show anything, but it still shows Kiko right over here. So again, I know that why she's really watching this, but it's just not going to cause a lot, pretty much any issues in Hawaii. Just a rainmaker, pretty much. Let's take a look here. So I'm still looking, still haven't gotten an invest name yet, or designation, that wave that we were looking at. But if we look at the satellite imagery of Kiko, strong hurricane. I mean, very well defined eye, and not a huge hurricane, but basically looks very strong. Now let's go back to the Atlantic. And if I look at the wide, you guys can see that this is just a mess right here. Just a bunch of scattered thunderstorms and showers. Really nothing developing yet. But again, the models are starting to pick up quite a bit of precipitation. Florida Keys, Cuba, Hispaniola, a little bit of showers on northwest Puerto Rico as well, and then a little bit of showers kind of heading towards the to the islands as well. But nevertheless, guys, I wanted to point this out. Nothing to really be concerned at the moment, but I wanted to bring this to your attention because obviously something is potentially developing within the next few days. And again, just keep an eye on the tropics. I will keep you guys updated as usual. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.